So, you want to build a smart, multi agent AI system, but you absolutely cannot afford to break your organization's strict IT rules. It's the ultimate catch 22 right now, isn't it? Everyone wants the incredible productivity boost of AI, but nobody wants the massive compliance headache that usually tags along with it. Fail compliance, and your project is dead in the water. But if you ignore AI entirely, well, your competitors are going to win. Today, we're taking a journey to look at the ultimate architect's blueprint for solving this exact problem.
Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this. Today, we're cracking open the blueprints for Microsoft Foundry. If the idea of enterprise-grade AI usually makes your head spin, don't sweat it. We've got some great interactive visuals lined up to make these complex, multi-agent setups super easy to understand. We are going to walk through the exact schematics and steps you need to get this right.
Here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off by preparing the Azure Foundation. Then we'll talk about why platform readiness actually matters, build a real-world multi-agent HR helper, read through the architecture and build workflow, and wrap it all up with single versus multi-agent design. Let's get into it.
All right, step one, preparing the Azure Foundation. Basically, laying the concrete. You literally can't build a skyscraper on a swamp, right? And you definitely can't build enterprise AI without a rock-solid digital foundation. Taking a look at this capability checklist, the purple and orange columns show us the absolute must-haves. Two things immediately jump out: GPT-4 availability, because your agents need some serious reasoning power, and Microsoft Entra ID. Now, why is Entra ID such a big deal here? Think about it. Without centralized identity, your AI has no idea who's actually allowed to see what. You absolutely don't want an intern accidentally pulling up executive payroll data. Entra ID is your foundational bedrock for access control, making sure the right people have the exact right permissions to build and manage these agents safely.
Okay, so before you write a single line of code, you've got to run through this operational readiness sequence. Step one, confirm tenant level enablement. Basically, verify that these Foundry capabilities are actually flipped on by your org's policy. Step two, validate your model access. Check your quotas, make sure you can actually use GPT-4. And step three, lock down those identity controls with Enter ID. And listen, this order matters big time. Developers constantly skip step one, write thousands of lines of brilliant code over a few weeks, and then bam, they realize their org physically blocked GPT-4 at the tenant level. Running through this checklist right out of the gate prevents those massive, heartbreaking build blockers later on. Moving on to step two, why platform readiness matters, or as I like to call it, putting on your safety gear. It is so easy to write off these prerequisites as just boring IT red tape. But as we see in these four pillars, it's really your essential safety net. In the blue box, we've got fewer build blockers. Do the prep work, and your devs aren't suddenly stalled out halfway through a sprint by missing services. Red box, safer deployments. Solid identity control means you can actually expand these solutions to other departments without losing sleep. Over in the orange box, organization-wide oversight. This actually makes it possible to discover and audit agents across different teams. And the purple box, this is huge. Policy alignment. This is your guardrail against your AI doing something crazy, like inadvertently giving biased hiring advice. It keeps everything ethical and legal. These aren't just checkboxes. They are tangible, real-world wins.
All right, part three, the multi-agent HR helper. This is where we start our actual building project.
Let's take all that abstract foundation and build something real, like a system to help employees navigate distributed HR policies quickly and safely. But first, what are we actually dealing with here? A multi-agent system is basically several agents, each handling a specific task, all coordinated to achieve one shared goal. Think of it like a really smart manager delegating tasks to a highly specialized team. Instead of one overstressed agent trying to do the whole shebang, looking up policies, checking external data, and drafting a polite response, you've got a perfectly orchestrated team of specialists working together to deliver the exact right answer. Which brings us to part four, architecture and build workflow. Let's read the actual blueprints. Okay, let's look at how this HR multi-agent system actually functions under the hood. Looking at these colored building blocks up on the top left in blue, we've got our policy knowledge base. That's grabbing internal rules straight from your secure SharePoint. Right next to it in red, third-party connectivity. This uses something called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. Just think of MCP as a super secure, standardized connector that safely pulls in outside details without making the user log into 10 different systems. Down below in orange is our agent orchestration workflow. That's what chains all our specialists together.
And then the purple blocks are the publishing channels, like Microsoft Teams or Copilot. So picture this. An employee asks about maternity leave in Teams. The purple block catches the question, the orange orchestrator spins up the task, the blue block grabs internal company policy, and the red block might check state-specific regulations using an external database. And anchoring the whole thing at the bottom, governance and responsible AI blocks, making sure the entire transaction stays totally secure and compliant.
So how does this build happen in practice? It's a clean, 6-step workflow. First, you ring-fence the scope. Be super specific. Are we doing travel expenses or are we handling medical leave? Second, hunt down your authoritative repositories, like specific SharePoint sites, so your AI isn't just hallucinating answers. Third, actually create the specialized agents for those discrete tasks. Make one agent just for searching and another one just for formatting. Fourth, chain them together with a workflow in Foundry so they seamlessly hand off context to one another. Fifth, publish the completed agent so people can actually use it. And sixth, apply your safety controls. That is the exact journey from a basic HR idea to deploying a safe, fully governed AI assistant that absolutely will not break the rules.
Finally, part 5, single versus multi-agent design, or as I like to think of it, the shack versus the skyscraper.
Now, you might be wondering, why go through all this effort to build a complex multi-agent system? Why not just throw one giant AI prompt to the problem? Well, when you compare the single agent shack on the left to the multi-agent skyscraper on the right, it really boils down to resilience. Take maintainability, for instance. With a single agent, making changes is incredibly risky. If you update it to better understand tax codes, you might accidentally break its ability to read travel policies. That spillover effect is a total nightmare for developers. But with a multi-agent setup, you just upgrade the tax agent, and the travel agent is completely untouched. It is wonderfully resilient. And then look down at governance alignment at the bottom. A single agent forces you to apply blanket security controls, which ends up being messy and way too restrictive. A multi-agent skyscraper lets you apply hyper-specific, fine-grained controls to each individual agent. The payroll agent gets locked down tight, while a general FAQ agent stays open and accessible. It just scales beautifully for an enterprise.
I absolutely love this quote from the source material because it really hits the nail on the head regarding the value of this whole architectural blueprint. A central design goal is minimizing user effort, while governance maintains organizational control. I mean, that's the dream, isn't it? Effortless, immediate answers for the user on the front end, while the IT department maintains ironclad, unbreakable control in the background. So we've poured our concrete foundation, we've read through the blueprints, and we've seen exactly why the multi-agent skyscraper totally outperforms the single-agent shack. And the tools to make it happen are sitting right there in Microsoft Foundry. The only question left is, how will your organization architect its very first multi-agent skyscraper? Seriously, take a moment to review your own capability checklist today and see if your foundation is ready. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and happy building.